So when people have issues such as anterior pelvic tilt, we've got to look at what is the reality in terms of fixing things. And when it becomes to this position, there may be adaptations on your body, in your feet or in your back, which come from tissues, ligaments, which make this very, very difficult. However, if you can create a certain sensation, that can actually go very, very far in regards to knowing what a certain body position should feel like. So this is a variation of an abs exercise, which I really, really like as a way of creating an optimal or a change in spinal position for a number of reasons. So if we think of anterior tilt as the hip going forward, if you're in a hips flex position, you're going to promote posterior tilt. So if you're anteriorly tilted and you're going to posterior tilt, you're going to be roughly hitting about a neutral position. Now, a neutral position in this case is going to shorten the abdominals. So we have a shortened rectus abdominis, which is the long strap muscle that goes from the rib cage down into the pelvis. So this is the reason why I have my legs raised, because I want to be in that posterior tilt position, hips flexed. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take a really deep inhalation and exhale forcefully and trying to curl up and shorten that muscle as much as I can. So I want to get as much of a contraction in that rectus abdominis. Now the reason being is because that muscle being weak or elongated is essentially what's going to cause the symptoms or presence of anterior pelvic tilt in theory. It's multifaceted, there's a lot going on, however it's something to consider. So what I want to do here is keep my chin tucked, arms out in front of me and knees raised. I'm inhaling as I go back, so I want a deep inhalation in through the nose and go right the way back. Now what you can do is you could put something underneath your back here to create more of a stretch. However, in this situation here, I've opted not to do that just in this demonstration. Sometimes if you do put that into that position, it then may create too much of a curve, which defeats the point of the exercise. We want to create intra-abdominal pressure throughout, so have that vacuum around the midsection. Inhale through the nose, exhale forcefully. Now if you're doing this correct, after about 3, maybe 4 reps, you should get a really good contraction in the abdominals. Very, very, very strong contraction. And that's teaching your body what it feels like to have that engaged rectus abdominis, and so forth, therefore taking your pelvis out of that anterior position. So that's something really important for you to consider. It's the feeling that you want to translate, not necessarily this is something that's going to suddenly untuck your hips. So again, we want to inhale as we go down, exhale forcefully. Now what you can do to make it a lot more challenging is on the final rep, exhale and hold, then inhale into this position and exhale, maintaining that spinal flex position. That will be extremely challenging and very fatiguing in the abs. So this is the optimal way of doing an anterior pelvic tilt correctional crunch.